to go through. I am,
I need to get like a good lighting source there. I got plenty of light over here.
yeah, lighting is a thing. Although I do have plenty of light now that I'm down here in Arizona. I
Oh, I
am now
bet.
getting up.
I do like the screen, by the way.
Oh,
The
thank
folding
you.
screen behind
Yeah,
you. That's cool.
yes,
That's
it's
neat.
yeah, it's been moving to Arizona has been awesome. I think I'm down like 20 pounds. Like, woo!
Fantastic.
Yeah, hopefully I left it in California. I'd like to not take it back. Um, the heat here is heating, so it's quite
Oh
lovely.
yeah.
What's the weather like up where you're at?
Right now it's fantastic. There's always the chance of January in the Pacific Northwest
Yeah.
where but yeah, it's kind of been flipping back and forth a little bit between nice and warm, lots of rain, nice and warm, lots of rain. We're in the nice and warm. It's supposed to get up to the 90s, I think, by Sunday and Monday.
Oh,
Yeah, so
I forgot
some
about
real
June
heat.
gloom. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. I've been
but
gone like
it's been nice so far, and it's looking to be good. The summer's probably gonna be warmer and frankly a little bit nastier than people are expecting, just because the summer was so mild, or I'm sorry, the winter was so mild. But
mm,
oh my god, the pollen counts out here are just insane right now. Like every day on my car, a new like coat of yellow, and you're just like, stop.
I I don't know what's gotten into me since the move. I will say I am outside a good 10 hours a day.
Yeah,
Like between walking the so I get up now like about 5 in the morning, this beautiful situation.
yeah,
I walk the dogs for about 2 hours. And then most days I work from the back. Got a lovely tan. I didn't know I could get this tan. No, that's different. Um, but the truth is, like at nighttime, I just want to sit under the stars. I don't.
yeah,
I think reality has just been real.
yeah.
I'm not interested in watching anybody's news. So
Yeah, there's definitely the what I consider sort of the news diet these days, where
yeah,
you watch like maybe 15 to 20 minutes of something, and then you're like, I'm done for now. I'm not coming back. Like I don't even touch NPR until like 10 or 11 in the morning now. It's like
yeah.
I can't start that way.
I I don't know if I'm at the point of like I know enough.
I'm done.
I
I'm good.
yeah, like I know what I need to know, and everybody else is catching up. I genuinely say that. I genuinely say that. So moving here, I'm having different conversations with people,
Oh, of course. Yeah.
and one, I recognize how fast I'm used to talking to people, and they are not at that. They are genuinely content to not be at that speed down here, which is
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
I think people like us are trying to just get everything out that we can, and they're like, "I'm in no hurry to finish this sentence," and I'm like, "Oh, to know, to know that Zen, it's. I mean, I don't know it yet.
Yeah.
I don't know it yet. But I've been working with all these contractors,
Right.
and even the good ones are like, "Hey, I'll be there next Tuesday at 9," and they're working across the street. So I'm like, "Oh, I see you. Oh, you just not coming today. Okay, just okay." That's
kind
that's
of kind of maybe forgot they had work to do.
yeah, I was just like, "Oh, okay, that's a little different. That's a little different." Also recognizing they don't know like my how do I say this? Mavericks.
Right.
You know, like, "Oh, they wouldn't know that surf competition." And I genuinely was like, "How do you not know the surf competition?"
Yeah, it's not exactly local knowledge in
I
Arizona.
I didn't. It took me. By the way, I also my sister-in-law is from Canada, and she had no idea about the Iditarod race, and I was just like, really, like and she's like, no, I have
Which
no
part of
idea.
Canada is she from?
That would mean I was listening. I I don't know. She met my
We'll come back.
stepbrother. Yeah, like it's not your side. I think it's in the middle. I think
Right.
it's
Okay.
maybe. in the middle there. But no, it's been fun. But I did find a group of bohemians
That's
because
right.
now
I
I'm
think
I'm
you were
writing
telling me
this
about that.
children's book, which is really really fun. I'm on crack cocaine over here, like coming up with ideas as I work from home for as consulting. Um, but I've been doing like the paddleboarding down the Salt River under the
Hmm.
full moon has been lovely. I do miss the ocean.
Yeah.
I do. I don't miss the clouds right now. I think
No,
my
no, no, no. Summer in San Francisco is always little bit hit or miss.
oh gosh, you got plans for the summer?
Nothing concrete. Most of it's going to be around here for now. Well, that's not entirely true. We've got at least one, possibly two trips out to New York City to visit Brent at some point. But um, I think the most of it is just going to kind of be here and try and enjoy what we have.
You guys just had a family vacation too, though, right?
Um, did we?
Was it
Not
Memorial
really.
Day or no?
Oh well, that was just us going out to the canal,
You have to know
which is
that not everybody has that luxury of like, oh, we're
oh
just,
no,
yeah.
no. I trust me. I do not take it for granted. Like
I love
the
that.
I mean, I'm very lucky that my in-laws, like, were eyeing this whole move and kind of transaction literally decades ago, and I'm definitely the benefit of that, which
I
is
love it.
lovely. But yeah, it's also it's within a couple hours drive, so it's you can kind of change your attitude and latitude very quickly, which is very nice.
I have not explored Arizona the way I should, but as soon as I moved, like my Subaru was like, "Oh, bee," and I'm like, "We're gonna fix you in a minute. I'll figure you guys out." So
There's some really, really beautiful parts of Arizona. I mean, the American Southwest in general is fantastic, and I love driving through it, and I love visiting, places really all over, especially around like the Four Corners. But yeah, Arizona is amazing. I know a number of people who go down there all the time to do something.
I am shooketh at how many headquarters have just moved here. It feels
Oh yeah.
like Austin relocation adjacent. Remember when everybody was
Hmm.
moving to Austin? I'm like, this, I wonder if there was some incentive from the government to move here. I would love,
Well, I mean, just
sorry,
look where they're moving from, right? They're just, the Arizona tax base is just a different
yeah,
beast from where some of these urban headquarters are moving from.
yeah. Speaking of New York, the Knicks are in the playoffs. Does
Yeah.
that dazzle dazzle you? I'm not really. I mean, like, let's be honest, mine was the Warriors. And even when they were playing, I was like, oh, good on them. Like,
Exactly.
great.
Well, when I was a kid and we lived in New York, I was a huge Mets fan.
Oh, okay.
For and I couldn't even tell you why. Like probably, well, I know like my dad took us to a bunch of games. That was fun. Just kind of built that up. Having come from Southern California and family still in Southern California, nobody was going to root for the Yankees because loved the Dodgers or you didn't, but
Yeah.
nobody fucking rooted for the
Yeah.
Yankees.
Right.
Um, but yeah, and for me, it was great. I mean, it was the Mets in the mid to late '80s, which is really sort of the golden era for them. Uh, and they've gone back to their long suffering ways. The thing with the Knicks, though, I mean, I knew the Knicks had gone decades without a championship. I didn't realize it was like 1973.
Mm.
So I've really kind of enjoyed watching this multi generational upswing and upswell in the city, just doing whatever they can to support the team. And I really like what some of the things that like Mom Donnie's been doing about, okay, we're going to make sure that there are screens around the city where the game is always going to be. There's going to be watch parties in the parks. There are going to be giant screen trucks parked outside bodegas that people will project on. And so you see those pictures of just like an entire city block full of people watching it. And it's good. It's fantastic. I think it's great to kind of see the city come together and have that much fun with it.
I
And I just hope they win, because if
Yeah,
they don't,
I do too. I mean, right now though they may win in San Antonio, so
That's all right. I think New York
I'll
will
take
take me
it.
either way. Yeah.
Yes, I know. I'm not complaining.
Though if they win in San Antonio, I do think Mamdani is going to just magically reappear somewhere in the crowd in
Yeah.
Texas.
I
The
was,
dude is just popping up everywhere. It's hilarious.
the one thing I had seen was the Knicks owner was bashing on something. And I was like, sit this one out. Just
Yeah.
sit this one out. Like genuinely, like it looks like everybody's rallying around your team.
Hmm.
Um it I can't. I
Well, he's a big Trump supporter.
mm,
He decided after Game 3 that he was going to cancel the watch party outside of MSG for Game 4, and Mamdani said, "Fine, go ahead and do that. I'll find other ways to project this game around the city," and he
why did
did.
he want to cancel it? Because they booed him?
Who knows? Probably, maybe. To your point, if I'm owning a team that's currently going through this sort of, generational upswell,
Yeah.
and you've got the entire city plus whole swaths of the country that never gave a damn about New York suddenly kind of buying into it, I think I just sit in the back and enjoy it.
I mean, everybody's buying your
Oh
license
yeah,
stuff. It's
yeah,
I mean,
it's
it's
money. Yeah,
I was just seeing today
like
inflation is up to 4.6% or something.
yeah, about that sounds right.
4.2. 4.2.
Mm-hmm.
And these people are using the little cash they have left to go
Mm-hmm.
buy your jerseys, your
Yeah,
everything.
because they certainly can't afford a ticket to MSG. I mean, the
Mm.
nosebleeds are like $700.
Is MSG still owned by the folks who own Cablevision? I
Oh, I
think
have no
so.
idea.
I forget the
Is
name of the
cable
last.
is Cablevision still around?
I think so. Well, I think the owners are. It was. I
Yeah.
think the LL. I think the S corp might be. That was who I worked for when I was at Fox Sports.
Oh,
Um,
right. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Shout out Andrea Greenberg. She was a fantastic executive there. Um, any World Cup watching for you?
Definitely. In fact, I'm looking
Okay.
forward to the U.S. game this afternoon, this evening. I caught bits of Mexico yesterday because I have a lot of friends who are Mexico fans, and they were just going just ape shit.
Did they win?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, it's. I hate to say it. I've heard more news about all the things that are going wrong in the run up to the World Cup. Now that the World Cup has actually started, I'm hoping that the real meaningful stories about the game itself come into play. So we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I grew up on soccer. I grew up, mom and dad signing us up for AYSO, and I played till I was at least 14. And when you're starting at 7 and there are at least 2 seasons every year in California, you're playing like 14 seasons. So I got a lot of soccer in before I was done with it.
Yeah. It's your kids are. I guess because your oldest is done with the first part of college.
Oh, he's
Well,
all done. Yeah,
all done with
he's
college.
done. Yeah,
And I just got through the first year of my nephew and the twins getting through college,
that's
and it's
right.
just surreal. Like none of
Oh
these kids.
yeah.
I don't. I know they're adults. I know that they get to vote. I know that. I just don't see them that way yet, and I love that for them because I was already married by their age. Like I was so
Right.
young and dumb. I was like, oh, I'll show you. You how to adult. I can't wait to be broke in adulthood. These kids are like, still just
Well,
get them off cell phone plan.
yeah, my wife and I were talking about this a couple of days ago because, kind of like you, it's like, okay, I still think of all of these kids as kids,
Yeah.
but now some of our friends who had kids that are 5, 6, 7 years younger than ours that are they're graduating high school this week up here, and you're suddenly like, holy crap, like those are babies.
hmm hmm Funny, haha, not funny. So one of the things I'm having an issue with down here in AZ is the
Yeah,
water.
yeah,
Um, my local water is disgusting in
yeah,
Tempe. So much so that I was throwing up every morning and I couldn't figure out like why I was getting sick. Like it just
yeah,
like
it's not
out of
good.
nowhere. Like I can't.
Yeah,
Um, And I am curious to see, because there's a lot of like Intel that's building out here and all these data centers are building out here. And I'm like, where's that water going to come from? Because you now have that proposed data center going into Utah that's going to apparently consume more than the water of all of Utah.
The one that was by the Shark Tank guy.
Yeah.
Kevin
Yeah.
Conroy. Yeah. Which has already been scaled back. Like, I think it was supposed to be 40,000 acres, and based upon some feedback, pushback, I don't know, some realistic limitations of the laws of physics, is now only going to be like half that. But he's still whinging about it, right? And I think, I think, as we've discussed before, you're just going to start to see more and more pushback. Like, Seattle just had a big hearing, and the city council passed a unanimous moratorium on data centers for, I think, a year, which has got all the local business owners and innovation experts up in arms saying, oh, they're giving away business. And I'm like, no, they listened to the will of the people, and they decided to vote for, not the concerns of the ultra rich, which is sometimes a Seattle thing to do. But if you go out on,
it used to be the grunge capital. It used to be.
Sidebar on that. I saw a young band, like a jazz band, that listens to hits from other genres, and then they try to replay it or jazzify it. And they were listening to, I think, Pearl Jam. And they were young enough to say, but I thought Pearl Jam was grunge. This sounds like heavy metal. And all of them are like, what's grunge? And I was just like, oh God, I feel so very old. But back to the data centers.
They don't smell like Teen Spirit, I guess.
No. What I'm seeing more and more of, both on like places like Instagram and TikTok, but also that's starting to surface up on LinkedIn, are the videos from town halls in like Lake County or Utah or rural California, where somebody looking very rural, very erudite, comes up and just lays out the entire reason why this is a bad idea, even to the point, I'll see if I can find it. One guy basically laid out, here's exactly what's going to happen. Like, even to the point of saying, and at some point, they're going to tell us it can't be a closed loop system. It has to be an open loop system. And then we're going to get back to the whole conversation of what's it doing to our water table. But by then it'll be too late, because everything's built and momentum will have gone through. So this guy was proposing, and I thought this was a brilliant idea, about basically providing voting for and making sure a bond was provided. So if this data center is supposed to employ 200 people for 10 years, the bond covers them and the operating cost, I think, for 10 years. So when things do completely pear-shaped in year 4, and these private equity funds and real estate investors are like, oh no, we're not going to worry about the data center anymore, and they move on, these communities aren't left holding the bag, which I think is a brilliant idea. But it'll be very interesting to see if kind of this groundswell of popular dislike of data centers holds on. The biggest tentpole right now is the fact, as you and I discussed, that Aaron Brockovich of prior environmental disaster fame has suddenly decided this is her next windmill, and that she's going to start tilting at it. She's got a website up and everything that's fight on the behalf of these communities that don't want to deal with the data centers, and it's going to be really interesting.
I think like a few months ago, I was like, "Where's Aaron?" Like,
now we know.
We shouldn't have to wait for Aaron Brockovich. We should.
Right.
So there were two thoughts I was having about, like, because Kevin from Shark Tank, Kevin the Canadian from Shark Tank.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, Kevin the Canadian was talking about the government incentives, that are given for the investment, et cetera.
Right.
And it got me thinking.
Mm-hmm.
We decided to privatize NASA, basically, right? We've
Right.
now just ballooned SpaceX's wallets with tax dollars. Tesla became the company it was based on government subsidies in order to
Oh
buy
yeah.
those cars. I think because we now see they are not for the people. Those
No.
investments were to previous conversations we've had, only satisfy shareholders. They
Right.
are no longer the artist communities they are. And
Right.
I think that anytime any company gets any government subsidy, any government, I'm talking any, we should get a cut of we should have a piece of the stake in your business.
And it's funny that those conversations are starting to pop up.
Yeah.
Which I think is, it's I think it's a good idea because it does start to
I'm winging
dilute
it.
this whole notion. Well, it's the whole sort of, what is it? You privatize the profits, but you socialize the losses, right? When you look at and that one popped up a lot, during the subprime issues in 2008. But you look at sort of the spend versus the reality, and I think somebody said that the current bubble on AI build or AI data center builds is twice the size of the subprime in 2008, which is just staggering. And I know there are some people out there, some folks that are highly, they're technologists and innovators and entrepreneurs that I highly respect. I've worked with them and they've done some really interesting things in the past that don't see a big problem with this. Like they are looking at these gigantic build outs and saying, hey, even if it doesn't work exactly the way that we think it's going to for AI, this is all compute that we can use somewhere else, that it'll still be fungible. Remember we talked about fungibility way back? Which, yeah, I get, but at the same time, it's still going to require resources from the local communities the local communities can't bear. And so when people like Kevin from Canada talk about government subsidies, I'm like, I don't think you should be subsidized. I think if this is going to be a business, you need to run it like a business, which means you pay for your own electricity, you pay for your own water, you pay for your own, resources to make it happen. You don't rely upon a rural community giving you a tax break, which they can never afford, even if it were something worthwhile to see your business. Is like, if you can't, it's the whole minimum wage argument. If minimum wage increases and you can't run your business, then maybe it's not a good business. Like if you can't, represent and work within the confines that the market's placing upon you, then maybe you're not all you're cracked up to be.
Yeah, I'm just writing down a note. I was thinking of everybody is so keen on, well, Google is doing well right now. And my friends at Google, good on you. You guys can treat me to Nobu next time you're in town. I'd like to. But I was thinking of, I was interviewing this week, a great company, and they were very heavy on like, oh, how are you introducing these agentic AI?
Mm-hmm.
And because I also record my thoughts, I'm like, I'd say it here. I think that no matter what you're doing to implement, you should be giving back your time to your team times 10. Like, hey, if they've just cut out all of these workflows, they don't think as fast as AI. And if you're not giving them time back to innovate and create different things, and you expect them now to take that 3 seconds that AI just took off that may have been 30 minutes before, what are you doing to give your teams the opportunities to learn and grow?
Yeah.
And that reminds me, I went to my very first Arizona Tech Council.
How was that?
Eye-opening, and I thought that I went
in a good way or a bad way?
Not favorable, and I left halfway through.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so the first speaker gets up, and it's they're doing great, and they're all very lovely people, right. But from a mindset for you and I, they're about 10 years behind, and I genuinely mean that. Like, there was somebody from ASU who had actually gotten up and done like a presentation on how AI should be used.
Right.
And guess what they didn't use AI for? Their deck.
No, of course not.
The deck wasn't done. And one of the guys had asked a question, one of the leaders, to which Jen put her foot in her mouth later. He had said, well...
Hey, at least you'll be remembered.
Yeah. as a jerk. Um, he had said like, well, don't you think like why should I have to give my employees time? Like, shouldn't they be doing it on the weekends and presenting it to me? I'm apoplectic. I
Oh.
am like, what? What?
Oh.
And I'm like raising my hand. I'm glad they didn't call on me because I was about to have a panic attack.
Well, it's funny you should mention that. So, old buddy of mine from Microsoft, who's now working on something else for someone else. I think he might be an independent. He posts just sort of like thoughts on how to run forward-looking sales organizations and services organizations on LinkedIn every once in a while, and it's been really amusing to kind of see his mindset and his philosophy pop up. But the last thing he posted was exactly about what you're talking about, which is this notion of there used to be, especially when I was coming up in consulting, this notion that sort of investments in training were necessary evils, and clearly your dog agrees with me, but they were to be minimized as much as possible. And my friend was making the point that like, no, especially in today's world, especially if you're working in partner ecosystems like you have with Oracle or Microsoft or God knows who else, you need to be baking in time outside of billable hours. Like you're carving off billable hours to really make sure people understand how are you using Microsoft Purview? How are you dealing with an agentic AI? What are you saving in work process over time? And if you're not doing that, then you're just kind of dulling the value of your people. Um, and I was a little surprised when he wrote it because I'm like, you're right, and I'm kind of annoyed that people are still thinking that way. Like, you don't hire a fully formed person that can do 110% of every job. You always hire for somebody that's 80 to 90% so they can learn and innovate within that space.
This
Or at
guy,
least I do.
I was just like, no, that's what you have an 80-20 program for. That's what
Yeah.
90-10 program for. And I realized I am speaking tech. They're like, wah, 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 wah. And I'm like, what?
So wait, so in the tech council were these technologists themselves or just people interested in like
No,
how to
they
use
see
tech?
themselves as tech leaders here in Arizona.
Yeah.
So there was a break. And I was like, I've got my chance now that there's no, thing on me. Let me go back. And I said, hey, I'd have to tell you, I think that's an outdated, thought process that somebody would be working on the weekends.
Totally.
To which he deliciously doubled down and had said, well, I tell my employees they should, act like the owner. You have to think like the owner. To which I shot back.
And are they paid like the owner?
This is why I love you. You knew I was going with this. Yes. He was just like, oh, what? And I'm like, well, if they're not getting equity and you're not paying them, you're not going to ask that of them. This generation won't put up with that.
Right.
And he was like, what? And I go, that's an old way of thinking. And
Was that guy
old
with a little E on the end, like it was Middle English? Was that guy our age or older? Not that I want to draw
10 years old. I'm going to say 10 years older, maybe 60-ish, which
interesting.
Look, 10 years ago, I'd be like, that guy was old. Now I'm 50. Yeah. I'm like, he was about 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
And then,
well, no, go ahead and finish.
The cherry on top. The cherry on top. But by the way, they also brought in police to talk about data, and I'm like, yeah, we are not the same. This is not.
Yeah, that's a different data conversation and not a very nice one.
But at the end, the person who was leading the conversation, they're quite lovely people. But again, this is why people vote differently. He was like,
amongst other things.
We're sponsored by those who are putting up the data centers. So make sure you go out and you tell people you want these data centers here. And I was like, I'm out. I got to go. I just got to go.
Yeah.
Like, you're okay in Scottsdale or Paradise Valley, wherever your house is, on whatever golf course. But the further out you're getting, I mean, they're building and building and building. And I'm like, this is still the desert. Where is it coming from?
Yeah, you won't have to worry about energy. I mean, from solar and wind. And I think just this week I saw that solar is now generating more electricity in the country than coal is, which is great. But yeah, places down in the
Remember, the
Southwest.
sun goes down at night.
Yeah, and remember, we have these things called batteries. I have a really nice one that's strapped to the side of my house right now.
How are people in power saying things like that? Like,
Because, well,
that's like a chef not knowing that mayonnaise is made with eggs.
Yeah, I think
Like,
it's because the people in power, for the most part, um, never had to. Well, they grew up never exposed to the level of technology
yeah.
that our generation and the generations behind us have ever felt. And I think that's part of the problem, is that we think ourselves as, yeah, we're good at technology, but you look at the generations that have come after us, and they're steeped in it. They're steeped in it so much that they're starting to outright reject it. Like, I've had my kids say I'm spending too much time on my phone, and I'm just like, I love you.
I
But
raised
they're
you
also
human.
exactly. But they're also the same ones that are like, why after 12 years, 16 years of education and deep knowledge and critical thinking and creative pursuits, would I want to hand that over to a machine? Like, what that might be valuable to somebody else, but it's certainly not valuable to me. And there's a clip I'll send you of David Eggers, the famous author, talking about like AI and writing in the creative process, that I just think in 2 minutes so clearly distills the argument, that it just blew me away. But it gets back to your point about automation, right? And I was literally having conversations this morning with one of my former mentees over at Microsoft about, and I'm going to have one in an hour and a half. Both of them work in organizations that are highly focused on leveraging and driving AI adoption to just make the general day-to-day office experience better. One of them is really good at it because he just intrinsically understands like the principles of knowledge management and how to apply an AI to that, and he's doing fantastic. And the other, I know, is just as competent, is just as skilled, but he's got to be the guy that figures out how to measure some of this stuff and really show that it has an ROI commensurate to the investment. And he hasn't told me this, but I'm definitely going to ask him, hey, if you're spending 10x, are you getting a 10x ROI? Because everything that we're seeing right now, and this gets back to the AI bubble, says that they're not seeing that uptick. And if you're not seeing that uptick, you're spending $1 trillion to make $1 billion. And we all know that's really bad business. And I know this is a long walk to get to your point. When we talk about AI automation, this is what drives me crazy, is this notion of previous versions, like say prior to November 2022, of AI, where natural language processing and machine learning and all this stuff that happened in the background, and there was always this conversation, especially when we started moving everything everything on-prem into the cloud, that you'd start to see the back office automation, you'd start to see the heavy lifting that a human didn't really necessarily have to handle on a day-to-day basis. That was the stuff that was going to be automated. And you're taking care of all of these denominator costs to increase the numerator, to give people more time to do better things under the guise of productivity. And I just don't think anybody's being honest about what they're seeing. And especially with this wave of AI hype, it's like, all right, guys, you told me 3 or 4 years ago we'd start having climate solutions. We'd start having cures for cancer. Mm-hmm. We'd start having faster, more robust, more complete pharmaceutical discoveries. Haven't seen any of those yet.
But we have seen synthetic porn. So
remember what Mitchell used to tell you. There were only 2 models that worked on the internet: buying stuff and porn.
Oh, I think the challenge I'm having with all of the automation was it a problem to begin with?
Correct.
Like,
That's the
so
question
this
asked.
API is coming through faster. Did they need it to come through faster? I mean,
Right.
sure, great, it's coming through faster, but it sits there. Like I think that's where I'm just great. And just like ATMs, maybe they did replace tellers at some point.
Right.
But so did digital currency. That's actually one of my biggest pet peeves that I've seen recently.
Right.
Obviously, my time at Visa makes me a little sensitive to it. Are these card transaction fees that are coming through now? Like, oh, you have to pay the extra 2%. I'm like, no, this was the point. You accept digital currency. Digital currency means you don't have to touch it, and it comes with a fee. It has for 51
years. Yeah.
And now everybody's like, oh, I don't want to. Well, then go take cash. Go take cash and see what that looks like. But the truth is, as a consumer, not my monkey, not my circus. And
that's, I mean, it's a really good point too, right? But the things in those areas that really interest me are the knock-on effects, right? Which is the more and more you move to digital currencies, the more and more you're establishing a series, or you're not establishing, but you're reinforcing inequities in economics and societies, because suddenly only poor people have deals with cash, or criminals have deals with cash. Everything else is a credit card or a crypto coin or a Venmo transfer, right? And it was funny because I remember, I'm going to guess, back in the 80s when dinosaurs still walked the planet.
Molly Ringwald.
When Molly Ringwald was young, there was a famous science fiction novel considered a seminal shift in the genre, Neuromancer by William Gibson. And I remember it was really interesting because the first chapters take place in basically what is the future Japanese underground, right? So criminal elements, mafia, back alley deals, and things were paid for in cash. I think it was new yen at the time or something like that, because that was the way to keep the transaction completely off the books, right? So everything was, under the table and illegal, or
is that crypto now?
I'm sorry?
Is that crypto now?
No, I mean crypto you can track. I mean,
can you track crypto?
Well, that's the whole point of the blockchain, is you have an auditable way to see where things are going.
Oh, I haven't gotten.
I mean, all right, I'm sure there's a way, right? But that was part of the whole early, I'm going to say mythology, and that's not meant to be pejorative, but that was the whole thing about early blockchain stuff, was that it was all out there, it was all auditable, it was all transparent. And is it still that way? Depends on who you ask.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just I think oh, how do you, because now I'm getting involved with a really great company, SablePay, and they do crypto payments.
Yep.
And they're awesome. It's founded by some former Visa colleagues. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Oh, cool. I didn't even realize as a merchant I could accept crypto and then get USD out of it. That's a little bit different.
Well, I mean, can't you, if I remember correctly, last time I was in Venmo, there was the option to start purchasing and I think buying crypto. I could be wrong. Maybe it was just transacting in crypto.
Not to be a seclusionist, but I can tell you based on
seclusion. That's good. I haven't heard that phrase before. That's good. I like it.
I can tell your circle of friends and maybe your economic circle of friends based on how you get cash. If it's Venmo, Cash App, or Zelle, I'm like, I know who you're hanging around. I know who you're hanging around. I don't have to cash out, but I'm like, oh, I don't have that one. That's a different one.
I was very late to that game. I think I think the first significant Venmo payment I might have done was sometime in the last 3 or 4 years.
I was old. I mean, it was back in 2017 when
Yeah.
I joined Workday, and they were all kids in my
Oh yeah.
team. They're fantastic, fantastic. They're all adults too. But they all used Venmo, and I was like, "What?" And now
Yeah.
I've just got PayPal. Okay, I'll download another app and I'll get it all set up and I'll figure it out. So
Well, I guess that's true. I guess I did use PayPal way back in the day, but there's I mean, I don't know, there was definitely a time, probably because of who I was working with and just what stage of life I was as a parent, that like, why would I do PayPal? Like, it's like that was a different demographics game.
so different.
But it's fun, but it is funny, and it would be interesting to look at like the adoption curves for things like that, as well as just overall crypto coin stuff, is to see like where that adoption uptick was across specific demographics, because at the time things like Zelle and Venmo and a couple of others, they were what kids were using in college or high school to,
Yeah.
to throw money back and forth to one another, and which is why I was a little shocked the first time I used it. It was one of my friends who's a very well established and well regarded lawyer up here. He's like, "Oh, I'll just Venmo you," and I'm like, "We're gonna do what now?"
Does he have kids?
He does.
That's wild.
He has a lot of high tech clients though, so I think
like
he kind of decided to sit down and learn what all the kids are doing.
That's yeah. Gosh, I know we're getting up on time here, so
That's okay.
it's interesting. Is that so? I think I've told you I met this really amazing duo of electricians who are trying to start their
Oh
business,
right, yeah. Oh yeah. Let's talk about
and
this. This is a great
I
story.
I have been wanting to do an entrepreneur project for a long time. I think that should be something like you and I would do,
Yeah.
which is they are trying to figure out how to break away from their company and start their own company.
Right.
And it was a song that night that gave me the inspiration to tell them, I think you can reverse fund your enterprise,
Mhm.
create a brand around kids, because one of the guys' name is Dave Navarro. Like, and I'm
That's
like,
right. That's right. You're telling me that.
and he's adorable.
So-
He's just adorable.
For the listeners at home,
Yeah, he's just adorable. Yeah. And Josh is his partner, and they've got 5 kids. And I was like, oh, so we're creating this entire book series, and it's going to be a coloring book series, and it's about electricians and the jobs they do every day. But it was the Noah Kahn song. Is it Back to August? And there's like a phrase of, it's to paraphrase, it's the very end of the song where he says,
Yeah.
they mined copper here for years and it's gone. And now everybody has kids who grow up to have kids who grow up to make houses for the rich.
Right.
And I thought, that's what's happening down here. Everybody's like,
Yeah.
oh, get into the trade, get into this. My friend's daughter is a freshman in college, but
Mhm.
I just graduated high school. Let me be clear on that.
Yeah.
She's already a founder of a company. Yep, there goes my thumb. And she's doing her like internship in Finland this summer.
Nice.
Yeah, and
Finland's
I'm like, if
lovely.
you don't come from that, if your parents are in that ecosystem, you now have jet fuel. Right?
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
And
it's
everybody
not-
here is worth investing in, and we're not investing in people equitably.
So next time we do this,
Yeah.
we should be prepared to talk about the book How to Rule the World by Theo Baker.
I have to read it now.
I'm not going to spoil anything. You can find articles and interviews on it, but it has become a thing, and it's in the same church but different pew of what you're talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's so I won't dive into it now, but I think to your earlier point, there is this interesting thing or observation or trend that it used to be, even in our generation, it was like it would be very in keeping for us to do something similar that our parents had done, if
Yeah.
not the exact same occupation, kind of the same social status. Like, so, your mom might be a teacher and you might go be a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
And your dad might be in the military, you might go in the military, you might be a first responder, right? Something that's kind of in that
It's a house of
strata.
learned doctors. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And we're starting to see, that, but we're also starting to see, as these new generations are coming out of college right now, and the job market and the prospects are just all over the map, that suddenly people are like, well, yeah, I've got a double major from a very good school, and I could, 5 years earlier, I could have gone to be, a consultant or an engineer or a computer programmer, but now I'm going to go learn a trade because that's going to be as good of money for a longer period of time with a lot more certainty behind it. And so you're actually in, and I know Galloway and a bunch of others talk about how like this current generation is the first since 100 years that is going to be come into the adulthood at a worse place than their parents did. And I think we're seeing this weird bifurcation, kind of to your point, that like if there's this new instance of what I think of as generational wealth, where it's, hey, mom and dad aren't going to give me a bunch of money, but I grew up in a VC household or a hedge fund household, and that's what I'm going to go do now. But I'm going to start when I'm 18 or 19 years old. I'm not going to wait till I graduate college. And that's why when you read about that book, you're just going to be like, what the fuck?
It's funny. I had told the guys, I'm like, I think I need to put you guys through a boot camp, because if you're going through being a worker to now being a business owner, let me help you. Like, let me, no is a complete sentence. You get to say no.
Yeah.
You get to say like, hey, California lady.
Yeah.
Don't California my Arizona. And I would really respect that.
Don't California.
They have that. Those are bumper stickers here. So
that's fun. Well, I can relate. I mean, Seattle felt that way about California transplants for quite a long time.
How's it working out, John?
I'm still here. It's the longest place I've ever lived anywhere in my life, which is pretty impressive.
Actually, with that, thank you for this book recommendation. What's the last book recommendation you had given a mentee?
Oh, that's interesting. There are a couple, well, the most recent one, and I owe you a copy of it, and it's over my head here, is Navigating Your Next by Julian Leyden, who is an old professional professional peer of mine and a former boss and a really good friend for almost 30 years now, which I think is one of the better, more practical kind of career advice books I've ever read. And I've definitely already recommended that to a couple different people. To my mentees in the past,
sure,
probably like the first 90 days, if somebody was going into a transition, like from one role to the next. I don't remember who wrote it off the top of my head, but it was very good. There's a great one. It's a coaching one. I'm gonna have to look it up. I want to say it's Michael Bungie, this Australian executive and team coach. Completely orthogonal thinking when it comes to, as a manager or a mentor, how you approach helping people. And it's all question based. It's only like 5 or 7 questions. Yeah. It's one of the best trainings I've ever gone through ever. And I've continued to recommend it to people. I follow him on LinkedIn as well. I think he gets it in a way that a lot of people don't. I also recommend Rest by Alex Soon-Young Pong, who former Stanford professor, former futurist, now works in a consultancy, but he's done a number of interesting books. His first big one was The Distraction Addiction, talking yeah, and this was 15, 20 years ago. He was right on the
How dare
cusp of.
he be clairvoyant?
He nailed it. It was great. But he's done one on rest and what rest means to people and why it's a constructive resource. He was also one of the first people, and frankly, I think he was one of the first he might be the first person to broach the topic to me professionally, was this notion of a 4-day work week.
Yes.
And he does a lot of work on that today. And
I like the 4-hour work.
The 4-hour work week would be great too.
Yeah. I think that's how I work. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but I mean, those are the typical ones that I recommend to mentees, depending on where they are. There's one that has absolutely nothing to do with business, but I love recommending it to people who are trying to get into different points of view or different perspectives or different mindsets. And it's not The Growth Mindset, though that's an excellent book.
Okay.
It's a fiction book. It's written by Alan Lightman. Came out in the early 90s. It's called Einstein's Dreams.
Okay.
And Lightman was, and I think still is, a physics professor and a creative writing professor at MIT. And he had done a bunch of like short stories and some interesting like scientific essays. But the whole premise of this book is it's the summer of Einstein as a patent clerk trying to figure out his theories of relativity. And envisioning all these different ways that time might function that would make and so each chapter is like a different thought experiment on how that stuff would work. And for me, it's a great little book to kind of give people a sense of, hey, even really smart people don't have it figured out. And even though it's a fictional conceit, it's always fun to kind of think about, okay, here's somebody that everybody thinks is one of the smartest men who have ever lived, just screwing around with wild ideas to try and prove a point.
I think that actually hits on the book recommendations I gave. Less educational.
There's a lot of romanticy in it.
Yeah, the first is Dirtbag Billionaire about Yvon Chouinard.
Yeah,
that's what I told the guys. I said, hey, if you want to hear about somebody who was really passionate, created an amazing company, was willing to do layoffs in order to make sure the company, stayed strong, I recommend you, because that is really about a pride of ownership.
Yes, very much so.
I had said, the first book I would like you to read or listen to is Greenlight by Matthew McConaughey. And kind of like to the book you were talking about.
Yeah.
Because I'll say to them, green light, that's a green light, that's a green light. Like, all these things start to work, and then all of a sudden this thing happens. And it's between the three of us. And I'm like, it's a green light, man. You've got to acknowledge when you're starting to see these things. Yeah. Poor Dave has no idea I describe it this way. I had been saying to him, like, the name of your company is brilliant. I think you should include your kids because of XYZ. And he had said to me, I never thought about that until this conversation. I said, that's the most dramatic I've ever heard.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I can teach you how to daydream? You stop it. Like this white savior coming through right now. This is the best kind.
Well, and to anybody that you recommend Greenlight to, I would highly recommend listening to the audiobook. That's read by McConaughey himself, because a friend gave me the book, but I'd already bought it on audiobook, and it's just, I used to not believe in books on tape. I did not believe in Audible. And then I discovered ones that were either read by the author or read by someone the author really wanted you to read the story. So McConaughey, obviously reading his own stuff is brilliant. I love it because you totally get it. And it's that deeper level of immersion into the story that he's trying to tell and the point he's trying to make. Yeah. But then you have people like Will Wheaton that, Andy Weir always picks for The Martian and other things. And I'm like, that's the right voice. Because for me, like the wrong voice will just completely take me out of it. It's really weird that way.
I think the one that one of the autobiographies I had listened to, which was hilarious, was I think Jennifer Lewis,
Hmm.
that actress. She's
Oh, totally.
funny. She's a funny one. Well, John, it was great to catch up.
It was great to catch
It
up.
was
It's
good to catch up.
been
It was
what,
good to catch
3
up.
months?
I know. It's we'll get back on these a little bit better.
Yeah. Well,
It's
the
just
last couple of months were a little crazy.
and we didn't even mention the fact that we're at war. I mean, we're doing good. We're doing good. I
Just
can't watch
just
the news. You can.
just I mean, just think of it like the John Oliver show, right?
Yeah.
Where they goes on hiatus for like 2 weeks and he says, okay, here's everything that happened in the last 2 weeks in the first 30 seconds. And then he's like, but we're just going to focus on this one thing, which is fine. It's okay. That's why we need
I
filters.
um yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just I because it's brought up some whatever this election is happening, I'm not I don't have a dog in the fight right now.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out how to register in Arizona. Um, but the delulu of pearl clutching that's happening, I'm like, I can't even care. I can't.
Well, I mean, there's like, there's a performative aspect of The Boy Who Cried Wolf, right? Where over time you're just like, okay, we know that this is bullshit. But it's become so performative past even that it doesn't matter, right? It's, as some of the pundits have pointed out and some people that I follow online, it would be fine if it were clockwork. Like for a while we knew that it was like, oh, it's Sunday night, so he's going to issue a tweet so the markets don't freak out tomorrow morning, right? And people are clearly benefiting from that manipulation. Nobody doubts that that's not happening.
Yeah.
But now the clockwork is not there anymore. Now it's just all over the map. And yeah.
I'm disappointed. I really thought my definition of bottom and gutter was other people. Apparently not.
Yeah, no,
They're
it's
just like, you don't get it.
yeah, it's
I want you to know I had a family member this week tell
uh-oh.
me that my great grandmother would be upset about how voting is done these days and how long it takes. John, I want you to know about my great grandmother, okay? This woman got married at like 17, had 3 kids up in Eureka, California, and had decided,
Mm,
I'm done.
yeah.
Made a deal with her mother-in-law. She took the younger 2 and went down to San Francisco. She was working in bootlegging places, racing at the track, and met my great-grandfather at a card hall. Okay?
I love
Like
her already. What's her
she's
name?
her name's Merle. She's Merle.
Fantastic.
You know what she's not going to care about? Politicians.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't know what delulu you think this beautiful family member is in, but I'm like, you didn't know her. You should know who you come from. Like they
Hmm.
were not. She wasn't voting. Matter of fact, I don't even know if she could have voted back then. But like she was doing like she was racing at the racetrack and or Tan Fran. She was making her money
Oh yeah,
doing the
yeah, yeah,
racing,
yeah. I know you're talking about. Yeah,
and I just think
that's hilarious.
you genuinely think she would be like, oh, I just we come from hustlers. Like I'm a hustler. It just there's no other word. I love that word. It's what it is. But you know what? We're not. We're not Ivy League. I'll tell you that. So stop. My mother had said, "Oh, you're going to find this conservative. I think you're going to fall in love with a conservative." To which I said, "I don't
Maybe not so much.
like they're conservative on how much ketchup they put with their fries. Great,
Yeah.
great. Anybody else? I'll work with you. I don't want to hear you snore.
Well, yeah, exactly. That yeah. There's that the whole notion of the removal of the filter is always interesting because we're starting to see it everywhere. Like even I was complaining, I was even seeing it on some of the job sites. It's like, guys, religion and politics, we don't talk about those at work,
Mm.
like, or we shouldn't. And if you do, you're really starting to self-select for some of your career choices. But to your relative's point, I would just remind them that Los Angeles County has a population larger than 41 of the 50 American states. Takes a bit of time to count.
I had said that. I was like, oh, what? Are we 10x the population? And they always made it on that Tuesday because people had to travel to go do it. And by the way, back then, I digress. So How to Rule the World and Rest is the 2 books I'm going to get into us on the next catch up. So
fantastic.
John,
good to see you again, my friend.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.